Welcome to Jakey 411. Still the Raiders playing today at home against the Chargers, and the Raiders lost today. I'm going to give you an update on the first half of the game. So the Raiders in the first half in the offense didn't really get much there. Well, they didn't get much going on offense. Like their offensive lineman wasn't very good, and their quarterback couldn't really get much going because of the offense. The lineman couldn't really protect their quarterback very well. Second, I noticed is when the Raiders wanted to run the football, and they couldn't really get the running game going. So the Raiders offense couldn't really get much going, and they only had three. Raiders only had 3 points in the first half, and it wasn't good. And then the play calling wasn't that great either. So the Raiders didn't play that well today. Well, the Raider fans were definitely excited to see the Raiders dominate out there, and they were excited and ready and pumped up to see their team get the W, but the Raiders weren't able to get anything going. And then the play calling in the first half wasn't wasn't that great. And there were some plays where Geno Smith just threw the football deep down the field, and he couldn't really get anything going, so it wasn't that great. And then I noticed Steelers and the Raiders threw behind the line of scrimmage, and they couldn't throw behind the line of scrimmage. So it was not a good day for the Raiders. And then let me talk about the defensive side. So the Raiders defense didn't really play that well. So the Raiders struggled at times, because the Raiders left too many wide open players out there, and they didn't really they didn't really cover their players well, and the defense couldn't get after their quarterback much. It was just not a good day for the Raiders to go and dominate out there. So it was not a good day for the Raiders. It was not a great day for the Raiders. So and then also I'd like to talk about is their offensive lineman as well. Well, the had two Raiders had too many penalties. Because the offensive lineman had too many too many false starts, and we had some holding calls. It was just not a good day. Oh, hello. Thanks for joining. I I definitely agree 100%. So the Raiders penalty, and I wasn't really happy to see the Raider penalties. Most of the penalties came from off, came from the offensive lineman. I was just like, man, how many times are the Raiders gonna keep getting penalties in offense? And then I wanted to talk about too, one of the penalties we had on defense is we had too many players on the field. How is that possible? Patrick Graham, you Patrick Graham, you gotta be on the same page with your defensive player too, because that could cost us the game. If you have too many players on the field, if you have 12 players on the field, that is not good. And they gave the Chargers an opportunity to actually get closer to the end zone. So they're gonna have to be definitely on the same page. And then I am hoping for the next game for the Raiders. Oh, someone asked for. That's a good question. It is too early in the season to tell what Pete Carroll is going to do this season. We're gonna have to wait and find out and see what happens. So, and then second, I would like to also mention too is some of the play calling on offense throughout the whole entire game, and their offense couldn't really get anything going. Geno Smith threw 4 interceptions out there, and was just not a good day. And then also why did he throw the interception in a double coverage as well? That is not a smart way to try to get something going in offense. Yeah, it is embarrassing to have 4 penalties out there. I gotta agree 100% about that. It was not a good day, and then on top of that, Geno Smith couldn't really get much going out there, and he couldn't really get outside the pocket much. He couldn't really he couldn't really get anything going, so it was not a great day for Geno Smith. So so the Raiders gonna next week when they play against the Washington Commanders, they gotta clean that up. They gotta not get 4 penalties. No, no, they cannot get 4 interceptions out there. And then second, and we cannot get any penalties out there. Uh, no, no, I do not think we should sign Colin Kaepernick. No, thank you. I'm good. No, thanks. No, thanks. No, thanks. But thanks for asking that. But no, I don't think we should sign Colin Kaepernick. So, anyhow, next week when the Raiders play against the Washington Commanders, they're gonna have to make sure they don't get any penalties out there. Second, second, they gotta try to eliminate as much interceptions they can, 'cause we cannot get 4 interceptions out there. It was not a great day for the Raiders today. So, and there are so many things the Raiders need to work on, or they need to try to clean up for next week. And then second, that's a good question. Thanks for asking that. Well, 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 the well, the my favorite player is on the radar currently right now, and who try to help the team as much as possible is Max Crosby. I do actually have a poster back there. So, Max Crosby. That is a good question. I don't really know who should get traded to the Raiders. I'll give you an example. Give you an example. Well, the Raiders need help with offensive linemen. That's where one of the biggest areas they need help with. And on defense, we need help as a defensive end, like pass rush, like getting after the quarterback. We need help there. So there are so many different areas where the Raiders could trade for it, but I don't really know who should they trade for. But right now, I believe the Raiders should do it, and they should just keep their team right now, and they should figure out what their what their strengths are, so they can build on that, so they can try to get something going, so they can try and make it to the playoffs. So there are so many different things the Raiders need to do. So thanks for asking that question. Okay, I'm gonna ask you a question to the audience. Okay, so then should the Raiders trade for any players in the league? Put that in the chat. What do you think? Should they just stick with their team they have? No? Interesting. Interesting. Yeah. So anyhow, so then I would like to see Pete Carroll have more communi communication out there is with their defensive coordinator and and their offensive and their offensive coordinator. Absolutely, I was pumped up and ready to see the Raiders play in their new stadium, but the Raiders didn't even get any touchdowns out there. That was terrible. So anyhow, thanks for coming to the live stream. Hopefully, I answered your question well. Hopefully, I did good on my live stream. So before I go, oh, okay, I see. Okay. Well, thanks for putting that out there. Go Niners! I appreciate you saying that, but I am a big time Raider fan, so I'm gonna keep cheering for the Raiders, and then hopefully they can get it together. No, I'm not gonna boo anybody. No, I'm not gonna do that. So, okay. So then, before I go, don't forget to give this video a big thumbs up, and then also subscribe to the channel. My goal is to get to 1,000 subscribers. Talk to you all later. Bye now.